Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. We are here. We are back and better than ever before. We are talking about formulas. And basically, what we're trying to do is learn how to solve formulas for a particular variable. So, we're going to start off with something easy, the formula for the volume of a rectangular box. And that is given by length times width times height. Okay, right there. And in this particular problem, we're actually given values for some of the dimensions and for the volume, and we are asked to solve to find the width, W. So that's not really all that big of a deal. What do we know the volume is 122.5. We know the length is 7. We don't know the width, so because since multiplication is commutative, I'm going to go ahead and replace h with 3.5 for 3.5 inches and then times w. We simplify that just a little bit and we get 122.5 equals 7 times 3.5 I believe is 24.5. W divide by 24.5 and we get, unbelievably, W is equal to 5 inches. So the width of this particular box is equal to 5 inches. No big deal, I think you will agree. But what we really want to be able to do here is to solve for particular variables in an equation or in a formula. Here we have an equation and we are being asked to solve for y. So sometimes people get a little freaked out when it's mostly variables or all variables, but it's really not that big of a deal. The same rules apply. I'm just rewriting the equation for no apparent reason. But all we're asking for is to isolate the y variable, to get it all by itself. So I am going to subtract 2x from both sides of the equation and put it here, and so then I have 5y minus 10 equals negative 2x. And then I'm going to add 10, because remember, I'm going to get rid of everything on the side of the equation with the y. And so now I have 5y equals, and I can't combine these because this has a variable and this is just a number, so there's nothing I can do with them. So that's negative 2x plus 10. And then I can isolate the y finally by dividing both sides by 5. We get the Kapow theorem because 5 over 5 is equal to 1. Kapow! It cancels out. And y equals negative 2x plus 10 all over 5, which is a perfectly good answer. We could also write that as, if I divide each of these by 5, I would have negative 2/5 x. 2 divided by 5, it doesn't simplify. But 10 divided by 5 does. So that's why maybe we would want to do that. I kind of like this form better. And that is a horrible equal sign, so I'm going to change it because really it's an embarrassment to me and my ancestors. All right, next example is all variables. Okay. This is the z-score, sometimes it's referred to in statistics, and sometimes many times we have to solve for one of these variables over here. So here we're being asked to solve for x. Okay, so z equals x minus, this is the Greek letter mu, and this is the Greek letter sigma. Mu and sigma, and those are the lowercase letters. So because I wrote that, now I have to rewrite the equation, no big whoop. So x minus mu over sigma. This actually stands for the mean of a set of data, and this stands for the standard deviation. Okay, so I have to solve for x. Well, the first thing I need to do is, just like in any other equation, this is no different than, I don't know, z equals x minus 3 over 4. Well, I would multiply both sides by 4 to clear the fraction. Okay, but I don't have a 4, I have a sigma. So I'm going to multiply this side by sigma and this side by sigma. And you can think of this as sigma over 1, and they cancel because they are equal to 1. I always like to make a 1 because I think it's cool. And then this is a 1, so 1 times 1 is 1, and anything over 1 is the anything. So now I have sigma z equals x minus mu. And I'm solving for x, and now all I have to do is move the mu over to this side of the equation. So I'm going to add mu to both sides, and I end up with sigma z plus mu is equal to x, and I have solved the formula for x. Kapow! Nice. Okay, and I think there is only one more example. Yes, this is it. The tax-free yield formula. So unfortunately, we're going to have to read through this. It's a lot of text, but build a bridge, get over it. A formula that may be important to you now or sometime in the future is the tax-free yield formula. T sub f equals T sub a multiplied by 1 minus f. So let's see. A taxable yield is T sub a. Tax-free is T sub f. And f is the federal income tax bracket of the individual. And then they explain what a taxable yield is, and I will let you read that. So let's see, Part A. For someone in a 25% tax bracket, find the equivalent tax-free yield of a 4% taxable investment. So basically, this is what in the world goes where. So they want to know tax-free yield, so they are looking for T sub f. Okay, so I'm going to go up here. So T sub f equals T sub a times 1 minus f. Okay, so we're looking for T sub f. Okay, but what's T sub a? Well, they tell me T sub a is the taxable yield. And let's see, I have a 4% taxable investment. Investment yield, you yield something from an investment, so maybe that's one way to think about it. So this is going to be 4%, but we can't operate with percent, so I'm going to change that to a decimal, 0.4, times 1 minus f. Okay, well, the f is 25% or 0.25. Okay, so this, then we simplify 0.4. 1 minus 0.25 is 0.75. Which is equal to 0.03, which converts to a tax-free yield of 3%. 0.3 written as a percent is 3%. I'm sorry, 0.03 written as a percent is 3%. And B, now they just want us to solve for T sub A. So I need that to have T sub A equals, okay? Well, this is not that big of a deal. It will be very quick and easy, very painless. So T sub f equals T sub a times 1 minus f. And this is beautiful because I have something multiplied by something else. And when that happens, I can divide to undo the multiplication. Even though I have subtraction here, because I'm multiplying by the whole thing, this is a legal maneuver. So same thing over the same thing cancels out because same thing divided by the same thing is equal to 1. And I am left with T sub f over 1 minus f is equal to T sub a. Boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, we have solved for T sub a as required. I hope you enjoyed this as much as I did. We will see you next time. Becker is out!